quarter. It's been a while since I've been here, talked about films. I don't have much of an excuse, man. I've just been busy at college, doing other bits and bobs. I did a short film that's on my channel that I made for college. Other than that, I've just kind of been lazy, and a lot of the films that I would go and see, I wouldn't have time to review them on the day or whenever because I would be at college the next day. Just too busy with a lot of work, trying to get the best grades I can. But I want to make a review for Star Wars, considering it's the most anticipated film of the year, I'd say, for a majority of people. And I was looking very much forward to this film as well. But there are a few problems I have with this film. I want to try and make this review as quick as possible. I'm also going to be making another video about all the films I've seen this year that I have not reviewed on the channel, and talking about the best ones, the worst ones, and my overall ratings and a brief summary of the film and why I liked it and why I didn't like it. And yeah, let's get started with The Last Jedi. I was about to say The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi is a good film, I think. It's a good film, but it's not great at all. I don't think it's a great movie. And I took a few days to process the film because I came out the film really enjoying it, and then I spent more time thinking about the movie, and the more I thought about it, the more... It's okay if I film something quickly.
How many?
Huh?
How many minutes?
Like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Hold on, come in.
I thought it was like a bit, some bits were very weird and like in the hole, and it was weird, like when Luke Skywalker tried to kill Luke Skywalker, and it was just really weird.
Little shit. The more I watched the film, the more diverse I felt about the whole thing, but I think now I've landed on a solid opinion about the film. Overall, I think with most big budget movies that the special effects are great. Not all though. Not all. I think this one in particular does have very well done CGI overall. John Williams has a pretty decent score. It's nowhere near as good as his original trilogy though, let's be honest here. And it's kind of the same as The Force Awakens in terms of the soundtrack. It's just kind of in the background blaring. There's one or two points where I thought the soundtrack was really useful, but I can't disclose when, because that's a spoiler on its own right. I think I'll just briefly talk about the good things. There's very good action in the movie, when there is action in the film. I think the acting has slightly become above The Force Awakens by everyone. Daisy Ridley as Rey, Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. Really good. And I think the main thing I was most anticipated with the movie is that Rian Johnson, who directed Brick and Looper and another movie, I forgot the name of the movie, it's probably another big movie. I was looking forward to his direction and his writing, because he was the only writer for this film. And that's where I think the problem comes in. I think the biggest problem with the movie is that there's a lot of poor script writing for the characters, and the way the story progresses, and the choices that are made. Because essentially, everything that The Force Awakens built up to, it's kind of gone the complete opposite direction that J.J. Abrams set it up in The Force Awakens. And that's really disappointing because a lot of us had expectations or questions about certain scenarios. And a few of them are answered, but a lot of them are kind of overlooked, or there's just things that happen that don't make sense at all. I'll talk about them briefly in a second. I think just poor script writing overall on some aspects of the film that are very dumb. I think in terms of the direction, it was well done. There's a lot of pacing issues I thought as well at certain parts, especially the subplot that I think every other reviewer out there has agreed upon, the big subplot between Finn and the new character Rose. Pointless. It's so pointless, it's so meaningless. It's literally there for the sake of making Rose and Finn relevant to the story, and it felt unnecessary. I really think they should have made it where Finn and Rose were helping on the ship that Poe and Leia are on, so we could have more screen time for Rey and Luke, and just, you know, fuck me harder on things that I think would have been more important to focus on. But instead, that half-an-hour subplot added nothing to the movie, and it should have been cut from the film just to make the overall pacing of the movie feels similar to The Force Awakens. Because The Force Awakens, love it or hate it, I think the pacing for the film is more or less almost perfect because it feels quick and sleek and perfect. What? Yeah, I think overall, let me get into the spoilers very quickly. If you don't want to be spoiled about the film, then go to this timer on the screen. So, the first issue I have with the film overall is Leia's scene where she's fucking gliding like a dumbass.
Kill yourself. No, that one. This can't be happening. I am better than everybody.
I didn't think this was serious at all. I laughed. I even looked at my stepmom next to me, giving her the, what? That's so dumb. Come on. It's. I don't mind her being force sensitive. It's the way they distributed it to the audience that made it so silly, because she glides, she just goes into the airlock, and even though they open the doors up, they should have all combusted. But no, it's just, there's no like gravity, zero gravity, it's just, okay, same. Another issue I had is that Luke, I didn't mind Luke being a dick, because I can understand that Luke being a dick because he's scared about what Rey could be and, you know, the possibility there. There's just moments where I felt it was pointless watching Luke suck on the alien's tits and shit. Yeah, those scenes felt a little bit pointless too, but you kind of want to see the routine of Luke. I think overall Luke just had aspects of himself as a character that weren't necessary, and if you think that I'm wrong, even Mark Hamill himself has stated that he completely disagrees with everything that Rian Johnson wrote for his character. And on still continuing on the subject of Luke, I felt like it was really dumb the way they handled his death. Understand that people are saying, well, yeah, because he feels like he can lead the Force to Rey and that he can, you know, his time is done. And it's like, yeah, but Luke is like the most powerful Jedi ever. And you're telling me he just wants to fucking float away and go, yeah, no. Luke can still be useful in the future movies. And they just kind of went, nah, fuck it. We'll leave him. It's like, no. And the final thing that might have annoyed me the most was Snoke. Now I understand a bit why they did it. They were trying to show that Snoke was up his own arse so much that he wasn't being able to focus on the primary thought that Kylo Ren was having when he was turning a lightsaber. But the dialogue Snoke was saying fits perfectly with what he thought Kylo Ren was going to do, but instead he was doing it to him, to Snoke. I understand the writing and the direction they wanted to go with that, but I still feel like Snoke was pointless as hell in The Force Awakens and now in this film, because he was built up as this big new Darth Plagueis, big, you know, new supreme leader, more powerful than the Emperor in the original trilogy, and he's just killed off like that, and it felt pointless and stupid. They really should have explored who he was and how he had so much power, but now we'll never know. And that's an overall metaphor for the entire movie, that everything is just so... yeah, not a lot of things are explained. Rey's parents being nobodies, I kind of get behind, but it doesn't make sense how everyone can be enforced in the Force if they believe in it. Also, the final thing, Porgs. The Porgs. I actually like the Porgs. A lot of people hated them. Of course they're just there for toys and shit. But they're pretty cute, you know? I was very underwhelmed by this film. I still enjoyed it though for the most part. I think it should have been better than The Force Awakens, but I feel like it was worse than The Force Awakens. So I'm going to have to give The Last Jedi a 6 out of 10, which is a fairly disappointing score for this film. If you enjoyed the film, that's all that matters. I don't think there should be a petition to cancel the canon of this film. That's really dumb. I'm just very nervous to see where they head with the final film. It doesn't even feel like the final film because there's so much they need to explain with these two films. But I'm excited but very nervous at the same time for the final movie. J.J. Abrams has a lot to clear up. I hope it's going to be a really good finale, because so far, it's just on a slow downhill spiral. Thank you for watching. Goodbye!